was you doing good?
Yeah, working hard.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I see you keeping up with everything. Now you're moving to skills, so that's cool.
oh yeah, and thinking about other things too.
Good.
So, have you used the product?
I've used the password for GPT, yeah, several times. I love the new dashboard setup where I can keep track of all those because I lose track and I'm like, who was the
Well,
last person that got one of these? And
we're finding that um, the distribution is something that is probably more valuable than the security to people,
yes, I would say
especially
so.
with the skills, because I mean it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Here's my friend Peter. Hey,
Hi,
Peter.
Dean. Hi, Dale.
Hey, Peter, what's going on,
Uh,
man?
Dean, I've seen your name in a whole bunch of different times, so I feel
Uh-oh.
like I know you.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's not at the post office, we're good.
No, I just from various Zoom meetings and
Yeah.
I think even maybe even the GHL community, maybe.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So uh, that's
Yep.
cool.
Well, I was just telling Dean that he said he's using the portal. He likes it
Nice,
for some
nice.
GPTs. Have you used it for any skills yet?
No, I have not. I'm still trying to work through the skill thing and see how I'm going to use it.
Well, Peter doesn't know this, but I'm going to let him give a demo today.
Oh, nice, sweet. So about what you're doing either professionally in general or with skills and GPTs, how you're using them. Is it just for yourself? Are you distributing them in some way? Like, are you using them with clients, etc.? Like,
Yeah, I run a small marketing agency. I have I have my own, I have a server. I host people's websites. You, and I have a wide variety of client bases. So in discussions with them, I'm constantly asking them, hey, what can help you in your business? Now that AI's come along, this and that and the other. And then I go to a lot of local networking meetings. I live just north of Houston, so there's hundreds of those things, and you meet people and you hear what they're saying and say, okay, I can help you build something for that and sell it to you, either as a subscription or I can just sell it to you outright and it's yours. And if it breaks, you come back and I'll fix it for a cost, kind of thing. So that's kind of most of that. Some of it, of course, and like everybody in the beginning, I built it for me. And things, everything from take this graphic and write me a post, write me a social media post to build me take this and build a voice for this person so it writes in their voice, not in generic voices, and to I'm there's probably I probably have 70, 80 of GPTs that I've built for various different reasons. Calculators for mortgage, for loans. Do some affiliate marketing in that world. For commercial loans and stuff like that. So that's always their first question, how much is it going to cost? How much is it, what's the percentage? Well, I don't know. Go here and enter all your data and it'll tell you whether, what you kind of qualify and what's the best approach for you. That kind of stuff. So
right.
pretty
And
much.
you said you had like 70 or 80. Is it a situation where generally it's close to a one-on-one ratio, meaning that you build something specific for a scenario that only goes to one person, or are you creating stuff and then sharing it with groups of people? Like what are the ways that you're
Yeah,
utilizing them
right.
and
Yeah, a lot of them are
or
one to
would
one.
prefer to, I should
Yeah,
also
I
ask.
probably have 10 that are uh quote unquote for sale and people buy it and so it's out there to groups or either to like a real estate agency that's got 10 agents. Here's a way to, get 30 posts and 30 graphics in 30 days so you can spend all your time marketing instead of trying to figure out what to say and what image to use for a post and that kind of thing. So, uh, the stuff like that. So,
And have you been using the TCOM password management
yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yes, I have
eh,
used that on those because I know they'll share because somebody will say,
right.
"Oh yeah, here, go to this link and you can do it," and it's like, "Nope, you can't."
And what has been your experience with that in terms of it working successfully and people not coming back to you and things? I'm just kind of curious someone else's experience in that respect.
I would. It's pretty good because as I was telling Dale, I'm grateful for this new system because sometimes my Excel sheet gets off and I lose track of who had what because I try to go and change the password every 30 days
Hmm.
just so if they have spread it around the next time somebody comes to it, it doesn't work, right?
Right.
And so, but so far I really haven't had any problem of anybody getting locked out as long as I can find the password I gave them, or I go in there and just reset it and here's the new password, and kind
That
of go that approach.
Yeah, that makes sense, and one of the interesting things is that GPTs, uh, um, work a little bit better on the new TCOM system in terms of uh, the old way of having to use the same username and password for a whole bunch of people, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
so that's a huge improvement by itself, but it still feels a little too much work because every GPT has to have its own username and password, or they have to re-enter it every time and everything else. And one of the really nice things about Skills is Skills gets even easier to use. Now, Skills in general, without the TCOM program, are there's really only been one of two ways to share skills, and that is give someone a file
Right.
dot skill file or dot zip file, or give someone a plugin. But either way, you're just handing it over.
Right.
And even if there was a built-in way like GPT has where you can write the rules and do all that stuff, which oddly enough, in skills, not really, that doesn't function the same way. It wouldn't even matter because you just handed over your entire file set.
Right.
So they'd be able to just take that piece out
Manipulate. Yeah,
anyhow.
they could manipulate
Right.
it any way they want if they knew how to do that.
Right, right. Which obviously, if you were smart enough to ask Claude, "Hey, how do I remove that?" It would tell you exactly how to do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that I started realizing that there was a problem on that side, and as I was trying to adapt it to our scenario and our concept of having a whole bunch of people we want to give access to something, and sometimes a variety of things. Like the single biggest difference, in my opinion, between GPTs and the Claude Skills is the ability to do something called orchestration. Are you familiar with that at all?
I've heard people talk about it, but not really.
So an orchestrator, basically what that is Claude is smart enough that if you tell it you want to do something and then you have a skill that's actually capable of doing it,
Right.
it will automatically know it should consider using it.
Okay.
Right. So what that means is when people have created marketing or skill stacks, let's call them, uh, what it would be is it would be a combination of files. So in the situation with your real estate client, instead of giving them a single GPT that does social media posts, what you might do is you might give them a stack of skills. The first one helps them with their ICP. The second one helps them with their unique selling proposition. The third one helps them figure out their style, and then the fourth one finally is what generates the post ideas, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then what you do is you give them maybe a starting prompt, or you say just tell it to start, and then the skills themselves can have the instructions of what to do first, second, third, and fourth, even
Okay.
though it's four different skills.
Right.
Right. So that's orchestration. Orchestration is when there's a variety of things going on, each one with its own set of research, each one with its own set of instructions, but it doesn't actually call them until it's appropriate.
All right. Okay.
Whereas a GPT is kind of like completely self-contained. This whole GPT has to run, and if at any point you need another GPT, that might be a whole another conversation. So so the realization of that's how it works, that's when I started realizing that anytime I want to do something that I would consider simple under the guise of what I need to tell my client to do, it was actually five or six or seven different things. And on GPT side, I think we had one GPT with 98 uploaded documents with it, right? It
Wow.
was just absolutely insane what we were trying to build. And unfortunately, OpenAI forgets a lot. Its
Oh yeah.
context window is so small, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Claude is almost unlimited. It just costs you more credits.
Right.
So that's where I started reaching out to Dale and started telling him, hey, this stuff would work better if it did this, that, and this, right? Right. So what it basically created is it created a potential new model, and that's where I think the demo that Dale wants me to show you is how easy it is to utilize his TCOM system to actually give people more and more access to things, and really to kind of help the model of if you're going to charge a monthly dollar amount, you have to figure out a way to keep improving or keep changing. And the other, the one nice thing about GPTs is that if you make a change to a GPT, the next time someone goes to open a new chat with that GPT, they do get those changes. On the skill side, that's actually one of its failure points, is in the model of here's my skill, go ahead and install it on your Claude. If I make a change to it, I have to give you a whole new set of
Yeah.
files,
Right.
right? And then you have to remove or you have to replace or do something with it, which gets really hard. And as a marketing agency, if I want to give you five skills in the traditional way, you have five files you need to download and you need to upload. And then later on, if I want to give you five more, you got to repeat and repeat and repeat. And then honestly, at any point, they can say, thank you very much. And you can tell them, well, you need to delete those. And they say, yes, I deleted them already. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so the TCOM system gives us two features that is kind of hidden. Number one, they don't have to keep downloading anything. And you
Okay.
can give them as many skills as you want. You could give them 1,000 skills, and they only have to do the username and password really once. There's a couple, clicks of the button they have to do after that, but you can keep giving them more and more. Number two is if you change a skill, just like a GPT, there's nothing to be done. The next time they open it, it will get the most recent version. And number three, you can take away a skill, and when you take it away, Claude will actually say, "Sorry, I can't access that."
Right. Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
so it will actually be aware it used to be able to, and it'll tell you it no longer can, which is a fascinating thing. So when someone does want to stop paying you, in our initial version of our distribution on GPTs, I think we were charging $27 a month for like 50 GPTs because we just wanted a customer base, and people would literally pay it the first month, and then the second month they're like, well, I don't know why I need to keep paying. I have them all.
Yeah. Right.
And we're
Yeah.
like, well, we changed the password. Well, if you're going to be that way, then right, like, it became contentious,
Yeah.
right? Because now the password didn't work, and whereas with this type of mechanism where you start from the beginning, where this is how the access work. As long as you have a username and password, you can access everything that we've given to you. But the moment you lose that access, everything goes away. It's not a did I remember to change all the passwords,
Right. Yeah.
right? Because there's nothing worse than someone stops paying you keeps using something for 3 months, and then finally loses access.
Right. Yeah.
We like it to be instant.
Yep.
So let me ask you a quick question. Do you have a skill that you've gotten from someone else or that you've created for yourself that we can experiment with, or that you want to walk through an experiment, or do you want me to just show you how it works? Your preference, if we do it with you or I just do it on my end.
About the only skills I have gotten are from Jonathan's. And now I'm trying to remember, where did I put those things?
Uh,
Uh, where did I hide them from myself? So yeah, I can go ahead and watch you do yours. That'll save
yeah,
time.
let's do it that way. Do me a favor, put your email address in the chat,
Okay.
and then we'll do this as if you're one of my clients,
Okay.
and you can kind of see how it'll work. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right, and then hopefully anyone watching this in the video will be able to follow along. Let me first start by logging in to TCOM. And I'm just going to assume everyone knows what TCOM is, so I'm not going to explain it. It is an AMA after all, right?
Yeah.
Take care of my.
All right. First of all, I want to show you how easy it is to let's see. Can you activate the share
Yeah.
option? How easy it is to upload a skill. And if when you find a skill, you can go ahead and do this.
Okay.
So there's different types of skills in terms of the way they're created. The most common type, they end in dot skill.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But there's also dot zip, dot zip,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Either way, all you do is you come to your My Assets, go to My Skills, click on Choose File, and then you find one of those skills. And I don't know if I have one that I haven't installed before, so I'm gonna try this real quick. Um, so let me see if I yeah. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab this one. I think I've installed it, but we'll find out. So it's dot skill, and then I'm gonna click on upload and create. Yes, I did install it before, so you'll have to forgive the way too many skills I have here.
It's all right.
So I'm going to just delete this one real quick. And I'm going to do it again. Okay, so choose the skill, upload and create. And then if you give it a second, it should redirect to the proper spot on the page. And what you'll notice here is that it automatically filled out a whole bunch of information here. The default setting right now is IP protected mode. So if you don't want to use credits, make sure to change that to password protected and then save protection. And then Dale will be improving this interaction here in
Yeah, it's
terms
in
of it
stage right now.
refreshing.
It's ready to close to being ready to go to production.
Okay.
Cool.
And then if you notice here on under content blocks, there's actually 4 blocks. So all the files and everything that are within that um, uh, situation, they actually it just uploads everything that was inside of that skill. It organizes them. If you notice, it says references and then slash newsletter. So the fact that that skill happened to have multiple files, multiple folders, it automatically picks up on all of that, right?
Right.
So if you can create a skill file, .skill or a .zip version of a skill file, you don't have to know how to actually organize it within this environment. It's a simple upload and it's there. And then in this case, we're gonna name the stacks, which is the new name of tags on the system, and then we're gonna assign it, for example, to one of these. So what am I going to choose here? I'm going to choose tier 1. All right. And then do I need to save that? I do not. Now,
Not on
so
the tags.
did I save the tag? I did
Uh,
not. I have to click add selected. All
yeah.
right. And then we'll wait a few seconds while it refreshes. Did it go? There we go. Okay. So now the tier 1 is there. All right. So back to here. So do you remember earlier I was talking about something called orchestration where
Right.
it's smart
Yep.
enough to know
Yes.
what drives that is the description and the name.
Uh,
So in the description, a well-drafted skill will actually say what it does. So do you see here it says trigger when someone says calibrate my voice,
right.
make it sound like me. So what'll happen is that the person that is given access to this skill, if inside a Claude they type the words make it sound like me, it will be smart enough to go use this skill.
Gotcha.
Okay. And that's kind of how it works. Now, how do we add someone to this? So obviously, there's different mechanisms that Dale has as far as being able to use webhooks, use the API, and things like that that founders all have access to. But the easiest and simplest way, of course, is going to create a new user. So in this case, I'm going to add a new user. Did I go to the wrong place?
No, you can. Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go. I accidentally moved to user manager. So I'm going to go to add a new user. I'll put in your email address, and then I'm going to find, um, I just deal with the stack name, or maybe not. Select stacks. There we go. And I'm going to choose tier 1. And I'm going to click add user. Now, of course, uh, in this process, I have to tell it to send the email. But if you're connected to HighLevel or something, you can obviously handle all that through the webhooks and have it send it that way as well. But right now, you're getting an email to with a username and password. Okay.
All right.
Now, you don't, or let me back up for a second. So there's no need for you to actually log in to TCOM as an end user to be able to use the system, right? So for this purpose, what would happen in terms of the way I invite you as a user, I'm going to show you some instructions, and those instructions are how to add this skill to your Claude. So now now you will have access to it, right? So it's a
Right.
simple adding of what's called a connector. So I'm going to walk you through that in a second, but I'm going to show everyone where to find this so that way you know what you need in order to set it up. So I believe it's under skill connection, correct,
Yeah.
Dale? All right. So, okay. So your MCP URL is up here, and there's a lot of instructions here, but they're kind of consistent in terms of how it works. So if we just grab this URL and nothing else, the rest is actually pretty simple. A little bit simpler than what took me to interpret these instructions. Not because they're bad instructions, but because, well, let's be blunt, I'm neurodivergent and therefore I get confused easily sometimes. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that link in the chat, and I want you to, Dean, I want you to put it somewhere because we're going to need it in a minute. And then I'm going to have you share your screen so that I can walk you through actually installing access to the skill inside of your Claude so you can access the skill that I just gave you.
Okay.
Now, this is really important. Claude will consider my TCOM account and Dale's TCOM account and your TCOM account all as different MCPs. So a single user could install skills from all three of us and distinguish them.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So there's not going to be any problem of if you give access to someone, does it give access to something else? No, it's just the skills that you authorize them. So at your convenience, go ahead and share your screen and then open up Claude and I'll show you exactly how to install it.
Okay.
So what everyone's about to see is specifically what happens when you want a user to gain access to one or more skills that you have created for them to use.
Let me get logged in over here. Okay, gotta go get a verification code.
Are you logging in the Claude?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So get rid of all that stuff and let me come back to Zoom and share my screen. Claude. Here we go. All right. Yep. Can you see it?
Yes, absolutely. All right. So if down in the bottom left corner where your name shows up and it says Pro,
Yeah.
if you click on your name or the down arrow, I don't believe it matters, and then settings, and then towards the bottom, there's skills, connectors, and plugins. For the purpose of connecting via TCOM, we always choose connectors. Okay. All right. Now, here you might already have some connections with other things. Some of this might look familiar. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a custom connector. So click Add and Add Custom Connector. Now, first of all, the URL that I put in the chat, if you want to add that to the remote MCP server. Okay. And then the very last part, after the last slash, it just copy everything that's there and then put it into the client ID down below. Okay. Now yes, the first one. Now I wanted to show you this before I did the most obvious part because this is the part that's the same for everyone. So
Right.
whatever your TCOM security MCP ID is, it's your URL, so it ends in a unique ID. So if you try to use DAD, that's mine. If you don't have a username and password on my account, this won't give you access to anything. And then in that first field under advanced settings, that string goes down there as your ID. That's the same for everyone in terms of the process. What's different for everyone is the name. So in the name, you want to put your brand. And in this case, this is my brand. So we're going to put in there AI Genius Kit, 3 words. Okay. And then we're going to click Add. Okay. Now, at this point, the connection is there. It just hasn't connected with the username and password. But before we do this part, I want to give everyone kind of an understanding. You can install this on web, on desktop, and I believe also on the coworker code version. But you may need to connect it separately, but when you do it on the desktop side, it will have to open a browser window, and you have to log into Claude in your browser as well. So just be aware of that requirement, because if you don't know, if you've been using desktop for so long, you don't remember how to log in, you're gonna need to figure that out first. So what I always tell people when I set them up on my account first is I always tell them to use the web browser version first, and then
Right.
if they want to do the desktop second or Claude code
Yeah.
second or third. Okay. So go ahead and click connect, and
One
this
thing I
is
want to point
where
out before you do that,
Yeah.
see that lock there that's in the middle of the screen?
Yes.
That is going to be very important because that will show you that you're using these skills.
Okay.
And
Cool.
you'll see that later.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you click connect, it should go directly to a TCOM login screen. And this is where you put in the username and password that's in your email that was sent to you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
And all right. If you can minimize that password thing. Okay, perfect. Now, once this is configured this way, what happens, and this is important for us as creators to know some stuff. So I'm gonna spend a few minutes kind of talking about what you see here, what the experience means, because as creators, we need to know what's happening on the user side. Okay. So number one, you'll notice that the name of the connector is my brand. So that way, in the future, when I want people to make changes here, I always just refer to it as my brand connector. I don't have to use TCOM or anything like that. The URL might be TCOM, but not my brand. Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Uh, Number two is down below is any skills that I've assigned this particular user. And if I assign more than one skill, then we will see more than one skill listed here. And if you notice the number one, it'll actually tell us how many there are. Uh, Number two is if we disconnect, what that means is the next time we want to connect, we have to enter the username and password again. As long as it doesn't disconnect on its own for any reason or we don't do it manually, there should not be a reason to re-enter the username and password.
Gotcha.
So technically, it's a one-time thing as far as end users are concerned. Okay. Even if we want to make changes to the skills or we want to add skills or anything, they don't actually need to disconnect and reconnect. What they need to do is right next to the disconnect, there's three dots. If you click on it, there's a refresh tools list. Okay. So what that does is that updates the information that it's getting through TCOM regarding the available tools. Okay. So if I wanted to add additional tools for you right now, I could add them in the TCOM backend and then they would suddenly appear,
All right.
just like the song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and do that.
Yes, I will do that right now. Let me find a skill. I'm waiting for skills to open. I'm going to add one, and I'm just going to add that tier one tag. I'll show you all an example of doing this in a minute, but I don't want to stop to share and do all that as part of this process. So go ahead and do a refresh skill or refresh tools. My apologies. And now we should see two when it's done.
Yeah. Two.
Okay. Now, the other thing that you need to know is over on the right of the list of tools, you'll see needs approval with a hand. And if you click on that drop down, there's three choices. And what this allows you to do is this allows you to switch everything to a different mode. Now, what it needs approval means is that the first time that you access one of these skills inside of Claude, it will ask you to approve one time or always allow in terms of a pop-up and says, would you like to approve this skill?
Yeah.
If you switch it to always allow right now, go ahead and do that by clicking always allow. It bypasses that step. And then individually, you could even change them. So can you click the hand on the ID, add ID generator? Okay. So on this one, if we access through that drop down, it changes them all to whatever we select. But you can also individually change them as a user, right? So this is not something we do as creators. These are instructions we're giving our users if we would like them to have easier access to everything, right?
Okay.
So as part of your onboarding, if you tell them to always or to select always allow, then they'll never get those pop-ups. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So can you click on the hand on the add ID and leave it as just one of them on a hand? That way we can kind of see how the two work. Go ahead and close this pop-up. Okay. And then in the chat, I want you to type invoke add idea. Okay. Now we didn't even use the full name, and we're going to see if it's smart enough to know. So you see now that green lock that Dale was talking about?
Right.
That's actually a visual cue for us that it's actually accessing the skill on the TCOM system. And this is what we're talking about, the deny, always allow once. If you select allow once, it keeps the hand. And if you select always allow, it'll move it to that checkbox. So go ahead and click on always allow. And now it's going to load the skill. It's going to read it. It's going to look at all the instructions, etc.
Cool.
Okay. Now, let's go ahead and tell it to invoke a Toya. Actually, instead of that, let's do that special instruction. I'm going to go look it up because I can't remember. Let's say calibrate my voice. Okay, and hit enter. And you see the green lock, it shows up with the Toya because that was in the description.
Okay.
Okay. So unlike with GPTs where you had to give someone a specific link and then they had to remember what the link was, or they had to save it down the left side or put it in their favorites or have a Google Doc or any of that. What can basically happen as a creator is I've given you access to five skills. Please do these steps, right, to connect the MCP, and then simply prompt in this case, help me calibrate my voice. And it immediately goes out and grabs it because of the way the skill was built. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, for funsies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and just leave that on your screen. We'll come back to that in a second. So I want to show you real quick how we can add access for additional people on different things, of course. Number one, we can go into existing skills and, for example, add to a new stacks, right? So I can come in here and I can add to tier one and add selected. And then everyone who has tier one, next time they refresh, they will have access to them. Okay. Uh, at the same time, I can go into stacks, I believe. Let me see. So if you go into individual stacks, then you can simply start checking boxes here. So I'm going to do that real quick with the tier one. Give me a second. So I'm going to go into tier one here, and I'm just going to start checking a whole bunch.
And it doesn't matter if it's you can check GPTs and skills.
Yes. Okay. And then, of course, if you have the API or webhooks running, you can also add skills through stacks and individuals, etc. And when we go over to managing members, are we able to add individual skills to a user here? I'm not
Yeah,
sure if that's been added yet.
yes.
So I'm gonna go here, and then let's say I want to also add you to uh, Bridge and Newsletter Ninja, and then I'll hit save, and then let's go ahead and share your screen again, Dean. Okay, you're still there. Perfect. I
Yeah.
still see it. So go back to Dean Pro settings. Okay, so this is what we tell our audience to do. Connectors. Click on AI Genius Kit. Top right corner, 3 dots, refresh. Okay, and then custom. Needs or always allow. And now you can run any of these skills.
Gotcha.
Right? So this is what we're calling basically ease of distribution and management. Now, at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you've already run Add Idea Generator. So technically, it's already, um, uh, you've already gotten access to it, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove you from the tier 1 access, which is where the Add Idea Generator is assigned to you. And what I want you to do without changing anything here, right? So you haven't refreshed, you haven't done anything else. Close this chat or close this pop-up. Let's go back to the chat and ask it to invoke, same chat, invoke add idea generator again. And just this time, just spell it all out. Now, we've already loaded it once in this chat, so I'm curious if it will work in this chat. I know it will not work in a new chat, but I'm curious if it'll work here.
No. Well,
Right? So the call gets blocked even though you haven't refreshed. So I've literally, let's say you've canceled your account or you broke terms and conditions, and I just wanted to get you off of it, or
Yeah.
you did a chargeback, whatever it is, right? Us marketing agencies know all the tricks. Even though you might still have access to a little bit of the stuff,
well,
we basically cut you off.
here's what happens, Peter. It learned there, and Dean, it learned in the first one. And what the way a skill works in a GPT, you have it all the time. It controls the conversation.
Yes.
In a skill, the LLM that you're using controls the conversation. So it's going to go in here and it's going to guess what that was doing by using the information that it has already. And it's going to do everything here. So it's not really running the skill. It's just thinking about it will help you try to run the skill for what it learned.
Right. Now this is important. What we've been doing here, every single one of these skills that I've shared with you just now, Dean, is the password protection mode. And what
Yeah.
that means is that's not using any of those IP protection credits. Okay. If we turn on IP protection credits, what changes is where the information resides when it's running in terms of the LLM. So if you scroll back up, let me show you this. This is really important for us as creators. Right below that number 7, there's going to be, I think, some the next little chat. So just a little bit further down. Uh, okay. So do me a favor, expand a Toyo voice calibrator there on the left.
Right here.
Yeah. So expand that. So you can see what was happening in the background, right? So, and then click on the green lock, or right next to it, actually. Okay. Now you see how it shows you what was done and it shows you some of the instructions and everything. So what's happening when you're in password protection mode is the information resides on the server, and it's handing over a temporary copy over to your Claude account so it can use those instructions within your Claude account as the user.
Yeah.
When you set up IP protection, it doesn't actually transmit any of that. It runs instead on the TCOM server's integration with Claude directly and only hands over the end result. So if you have a true, this is not something I want anyone to know how I do it.
Right.
That's what the IP protection mode is for, and that's why it consumes credits and is more expensive than just password protection. Okay.
Makes
So
sense.
so so that's something that took me a little while to figure out in my head because I'm just way too analytical and as I tell someone, if you tell me a simple idea, I have at least 60 questions I want to ask. Right? So it took me a while to kind of figure out how to explain it to someone else, but the difference is this. When it's password protection only, it will grab what it needs and it will put it inside of your user's Claude conversation so it can run that conversation inside of their Claude. When you have IP protection turned on, it only sends over to their Claude the output that the TCOM conversation created. Right. Now it can be a back and forth and it can continue using credits and they can do all that fancy stuff, but it's running inside of Dale's environment, not the locally installed Claude or the locally running web in Claude. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it makes sense of how easy it runs, how easy it is to add and remove. And of course, as a final kind of description for everyone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove a couple of those stacks, what used to be called tags. If you can share your screen one more time and just do that refresh again. And what I want everyone to pay attention to is the current number of skills within that AI Genius Kit stack before and after he hits refresh. So go down to Dean Pro settings. Connectors, AI Genius Kit, and looks like we have 28 tools. Go ahead and do the refresh at the top. And now we're down to 8. So this, as far as I know, the TCOM program is the only program on the market that someone hasn't built themselves for their own purposes that will even remotely allow you to control access to skills. And then, of course, the IP protection gives you complete or removes all transparency into your unique set of instructions and research and all those functions. So if that's important to you, then the IP protection should be turned on. But just be aware that's what the extra cost factors for founders is for.
Right. Gotcha.
So
All right.
now, the reason I have AMAs where I've gone through this already,
Okay.
but I thought this was important for you, Peter, to show it because you are a creator.
Yes.
And so you get in one video, you can get the coder, the creator of the thing. And now we've got something for a creator showing it.
Yeah.
And how can I get a better endorsement than that?
Right.
So
So
Dean, do you have a pretty good system for distributing your stuff? Or are you doing it via Google Docs and in a similar way that Jonathan does it, or are you doing something
Yeah,
else?
it's pretty much, yeah, I have, if it's a paid product, well then they pay for it, it redirects it. I just go in and create a website component piece for it where I've got a page where they get the link and they just go there and get the link, or they get a PDF with the link, that approach, you know.
Right.
It was pretty.
And a high level, right?
Yeah, I do use HighLevel. Yes.
Yeah. So with high level, if you created a form and then did a automation or workflow that used the add user webhook,
Yeah.
you can actually assign a password then.
Yes.
And if you did it that way, then you can actually display on their thank you page what their username and password is, and they don't even have to wait for an email,
There you go.
right?
That
So,
would be great. Yeah.
and then you run the automation of all the skills or all the stacks that you want to add for that user, and then there's a remove and all that functionality to basically control it. So the webhook itself is pretty powerful without going into the API side.
Right.
But the API side just gives you more control and gives you more flexibility where to use it, how to use it, etc.
Cool.
Do you have any questions?
No, not right now. I mean, it's kind of like taking a drink from a fire hose. So,
Right.
but that's okay. I mean, that's part of the introduction to new systems and processes is you got to get it out there so people can either break it or or be able to use it and give you good feedback saying this has worked like this and worked really well. So I mean, I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, I did this, I need 3 people to go test this and tell me, does it work like it's supposed to? Yes it does. No it didn't, that kind of thing. So yeah, I get that part. So I think you did a great job here.
Thank you.
that
Thank you, Cedar.
Yeah, definitely. Dale has knocked it out of the park. Because I have to tell you when Jonathan first announced that GPTs were going away, uh, my first reaction was, great, there goes my business model,
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But once I figured out how his system can aid in distribution, now it's like the business model is better than ever.
Yes, right.
Uh,
Actually, yeah, actually, it's better through this than it was going to get the other way because it was just getting too far out of control, in my opinion. And now you've got, okay, I can keep creating this, the components of a GPT. I can protect all of it. I can sell it to somebody and they can use it, just like you just did with the stack thing, And of course, as soon as I can figure out how to get all the stack thing working right, well, then I'll probably just move to that because that's a whole lot simpler.
Yeah, and there still will be a restriction on your user side. So
Yeah,
if you go to one of your clients and you've been sharing GPTs with them, and then you suddenly tell them you're going to give them skills, and their attitude is, well, I don't want to use Claude,
right. Yeah,
then you have to have both, and that's
yeah.
what's really nice about
That's what the system will do. Yes.
yeah, the system will do both, and then of course taking a GPT that you've spent a lot of time and energy in creating and converting it into a skill, it is a lot easier than rebuilding it from scratch as a skill.
Has a skill.
In terms of if you can figure out a mechanism and my specialist, what he created is he actually created a process involving programming and other things where it takes all that documentation out of the GPT, breaks it all down into pieces, and then reassembles it into a skill using programmatic language.
Yeah.
And um, I don't know if it's something I can share, but if you have a GPT that you really need converted to a skill that you're okay with sharing with me,
Yeah. Okay.
uh, um, if you want to send me all those files, I will convert one for you so you can see what it looks like when it turns into a skill.
All right.
And I want to show an extra bonus thing for all the creators, including yourself, Dean, that you may not be aware of. And that is you can actually look at all the files inside of a .skill without using any special software.
Cool.
So if you want to see how to do that real quick, I will share a skill in the chat here. I'm gonna pick one that's kind of simple, so there's not too much stuff in there. So let's see. No, not that one. It's like 20 pages. All right. All right. You know what? I'm just going to share the Toya voice that we saw earlier. So if you can download that to your computer, and then just save it to your computer and then share your screen.
Just leave it zip like it is.
Correct. It should just be a dot skill,
Yeah.
right? Now some zip programs can open it directly, but if you haven't been able to figure that out, I just wanted to show everyone a quick fix for that.
Are you on a Windows or a Mac?
I'm on a Windows.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the dot skill, I want you to rename it so it's dot zip.
Yeah, just click in the name there. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hit yes. And then open it. Okay. Now you have access to everything that's in it. And then before you upload it, you can actually leave it as a zip if you want, or rename it back to .skill. So
Okay.
if you extracted all this to your computer, you could see exactly how a skill was built,
All right. Cool.
right? So if you're working on things or you're modifying things, or you get something from somewhere else, in terms of a skill, just know all you need to do is change the document type from .skill to .zip, and then you can just open it like a regular zip file.
And
Oh,
then
cool.
you can click on see extract all up at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just click on that and it'll expand everything. And what it will do is it will keep that zip file, but like that, it will put another folder in your downloads.
Right.
And now you can go in and see those things.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So I was actually surprised to find out that .skill was just a compression format related to zip. So I felt that was important to share.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well, Dean,
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you showing up.
Glad to be
And
here.
hey, we're just right at an hour, a little over. But I'll be here every Thursday at noon our time, Central
Okay.
Time, 1
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern. And so if you got any questions or if you want to suggest some improvements, my ears are always open.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And Dean, as I suggested, since we're here for us today, if you have a GPT you want my guy to convert for you into a skill, just send me an email with whatever documentation I need to make that happen for you.
Okay. I appreciate
do
it.
you have Peter's email?
Yeah, I put it in the
Just
chat.
got it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So, and if you need me, you can always just email me because I'm
Sure.
at the bottom of all emails.
Right.
And I usually get within 24 hours or sooner.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I see you more coming weeks.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.